So I'm always confused about this. When you can take a move from another playbook, does that mean just their basic moves or their advanced moves as well? Because I've been looking at this Holy Fervor advanced move that the priest can take.
Yeah.
Where he can take a move from the cultist list.
So you can take it, but you treat your level as one lower. So going to level 2, the only thing you'd be able to pick are basic moves.
Okay.
If you're level 3 and multi-classing or taking an advanced move from somebody else, then you can take from their 2-5 section.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to Gauntlet Hangouts. This is Gaunt Marches, Oncoming Storm. This is our second session. Unfortunately, we didn't get to record the first one. But we are right in the middle of some fun action, and hopefully anybody who watches these will be able to catch up quick enough with us. Just a couple safety things. We've got X card in case anybody needs to use that for any reason. Just holler it out, put it in chat, throw up your arms, and we'll just kind of rewind and find another way to do things so everybody has a good time the whole time. We're planning on just doing one long break right in the middle. Jim, did you say 10 or 15 minutes is best for you?
Just like 10 is fine. Just like some people are like, we're going to take a 5-minute break. And like, that's like barely enough time to do anything. So yeah. Like if we get 10 minutes, then I'm good.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll want to eat dinner probably in an hour or two. So that would be good.
Cool. All right. And then we also have a couple of veils over torture. So we're not going to see torture or sex on screen. And I believe we had no violence against or cruelty to animals as a line in the world, right? So we just won't, or as a veil as well. So we won't see it happen. We can see signs of it, but we're not going to get into too much detail if that does come up. Other than that, I'll kind of just recap where we're at. We'll do a quick character introduction to remind everybody who we all are, and then get back to the action. So we found our heroes of sorts in the Goat Bridge, which is a small village in the middle of the Gaunt Marches, a perilous world full of dangers and treasures. They decided to escort a frogman out to his village because they had heard some rumors about a godling who seems to be connected to the frog people. Once they got to the village, they saw some signs of a snake attack, and then by morning light, the snake people did attack the village. Before the attack actually happened, we got to talk to Mene, who was a frog person follower of the godling Boglabub. And he basically said, yeah, you got to take gifts. You got to take gifts. I think we stole some gifts from him, but probably gifts you're going to hold on to. Anyway, after meeting with him, we fought some snake people. And last we saw, they retreated. Many were killed, but also they inflicted some good losses on the frog people. Did some significant damage to all of you. And we saw them carrying off some like goods. It seems like the main hut at the one end of the village is where most of the stuff is kept. So, did I miss anything big? Anything you guys want to bring up major?
The tapestry bit that had the same insignia on it, had the same kind of symbology as on the holy symbol for Lorcus.
Yep. Yeah, the iconography kind of hinted towards Uruk, the Lady of Shadow, who is Lorcus's goddess that he worships, and it is a tapestry that's kind of connected to the old empire that existed in the time before the swamp completely took over and all hell broke loose. Awesome. Well, let's do some character introductions. Just remind us kind of what your characters look like. If you have a key that you want to specifically try and hit this session, and then just remind us like your personality and temperament, so we can all get back into the groove of role playing as soon as possible. Jim, do you want to start with Afik?
Yeah, sure thing. I'm playing Afik, the half-elven ranger. He is from the Knee-High Sea to the south, to the vast archipelago of islands that dot the Knee-High Sea, and has come north just looking for, like, just to see the world. Literally, he is looking for cool places that he has never seen before and that his people, haven't seen before, that he's heard tales of and things like that in in Eelton. And so he is here basically to sightsee. As a half-elf, I have both the human and elven perilous journey moves. So that seemed to make sense, given that like my emphasis is on travel. It's not on like being a ranger that protects a particular chunk of woods or something like that. I am kind of on the move, sort of exploring all different places. My drive is wonder. Show someone a place or thing of natural beauty that they have not seen before. So, and I think I'm going to rely on you, Spencer, to keep an open mind about what a definition of natural beauty is, given that a whole lot of the marches are like nasty, mucky, swampy, but they'll be like fascinating places that we can find, in amongst the bogs and stuff like that hopefully should count for that. So that's going to be it. Then, like, kind of my looking for places is going to be an aspect of this character. My keys are the awestruck, which ties into my wonder key. When you gain an XP when I dwell on the beauty, majesty, or wonder of a place, or when my elation over a wondrous space, object, or person distracts me from real danger. So that should be fun to kind of role play and get that also seemed like a way to get myself into trouble. So that was another one that made a lot of fun. And the other one is the key of the lover. Gain an XP when you fall in and out of love again, or when you successfully romance a former foe. And I buy that off when I stay faithful to the person I love and give up my rakish lifestyle forever. And I don't know that that's so much rakish as just like I'm super enamored of new things I haven't seen before, but then I very quickly grow bored and want to move on. So I think that's kind of how that's reflected in that key of the lover. I guess the other thing we need to know is that I have a buddy named Shovel Tusk, Tyr Shovel Tusk, who is a 250-pound wild boar who I have kind of domesticated as much as it's possible to domesticate such a thing. And he is my faithful companion on all of my journeys. And we learned that he will respond to my whistles to like trample stuff. He's not particularly subtle. He can't do tricks, but he can crush things under hoof. And he can dig pretty good. So and he's hanging out with me. I think he got dinged by a lizard man or a snake man spear last time. So I'm gonna have to give him, wrap up his haunches or whatever. But he where I go, he goes, and I think probably vice versa. His drive is to fill his tummy with yummy food. So that will almost certainly factor into what we're doing as well. So. That is Afik.
Awesome. All right. Jim, would you introduce us to D'Oyly?
Sure. Well, D'Oyly is a pretty young human with the slenderness of youth, and he wears a stylish hat, which is useful to him as a bard. It helps him, helps draw people's eye to him if his natural charm doesn't do that. And he's from, I'm going to just say he's from the big city, which I guess is Eelton. And he was told as he tried to enter the bardic circles there that he needed sort of more of his own material. So he is off in the world as somewhat between a storyteller looking for material and maybe kind of also as a journalist. He's interested in observing and finding out things in general. His keys are and he has a lute, which you will never hear played. Because, but anyway, except in roll. Let's see. His keys are appropriately Key of the Curious, which goes off when you get yourself in trouble by tinkering with something best left alone, or when careful experimentation teaches you something profound about magic. That can be bought off if you ignore that sort of thing. And the other is the Key of the Harper, where if you take a bold action to impress a stranger or publicly take credit for a deed or work, even when it would be safer not to, that key goes off, and that can be bought off when you let someone else claim credit for one of your accomplishments. Let's see. His neutral drive is to discover something new or write a new song, which he's already had the opportunity to do. And he has a short sword and dagger for his weaponry and leather armor. So he's also willing to fight and interested in doing more of that. Other than that, he likes to tell stories and sing songs and entertain and carouse and talk to other people and make sure that Lorcas doesn't do something so that someone else attacks us, unless we all agree on it.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Stephen, will you tell us a little bit about Lorcas?
Yeah, so Lorcas, I think the best way to describe him is Lorcas is a zealot. He's a zealot of the kind of goddess of shadow Urub, who we decided last week used to be the deity of the sun and had that title taken away from her at some point in the past. So now she's the goddess of shadow instead. So he is devoted to her in all things and tries to spread the good word about Urub, or the bad word, rather, about Urub wherever he goes. The mechanical parts of his character are all based around that. So his drive is orthodoxy, because he definitely tends to start trouble by adhering to doctrine, as he did last time. He's got the keys of the melancholic because he's a downer who likes shadows and believe things are all coming to an end and that death is imminent. And he's got the key of the radical because he's trying to spread that good news to everyone that he talks to. He looks like, in my head, actually, a dirty version of Kylo Ren, I guess. It's probably a good way to think of it. He wears dark, muddy robes without much on underneath. Every once in a while, his limbs start to flail a bit and whatnot, and are mucky and kind of scabrous, I think. And then he always wears a metal face mask over his face, so no one's actually seen what he looks like. No one really knows where he came from. Somewhere in the marches, we've yet to determine that.
Awesome.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
What is the thing that is appealing about him? Like, what is the reason that we hang out with him? And do you think?
That's a good question.
Because there's got to be something. Like, I think in my head, I think I kind of had an idea what my character thought it was. But like, I'm curious. Like, there's got to be something about him that people hang out with him and have him around. I mean, like, what do you think that is? Like, I'm just really curious what is his redeeming feature?
So I think with regards to Afik, and I guess this would go into how they kind of met each other in the first place. With the two of them, I could see, because Lorcas is looking for like holy sites, anything related to Urub, any relics related to Urub. I could easily see them saying, I'm looking for mysteries off in the bogs, or I'm looking for mysteries in the swamps. And Afik being interested because it's something new, you know?
Oh, so like, is one of the things that's appealing to him is that he, like certain to me, like, I think the fact that he like has no ego about this is kind of like sort of a feature in its own way. Like, because he's devoted to the mission, he won't ever say, no, that place is too dangerous, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, I think from Afik's point of view, you know, Lorcas is like a straight up seeker. Like, all he wants to do is find this stuff, and he's pretty oblivious, like you said, to danger. So I could see Afik interested in those qualities. I would say his redeeming quality, Lorcas's redeeming quality, is that he's interesting. He's doing something most people aren't doing. He's not a nice person, but he is an interesting person.
That totally works. That's awesome. Like the thing that makes him the reason we hang out with him doesn't have to have anything to do with his personality or, you know, his nature or anything, his good nature or anything, but just that, but that's the, like, I was curious what you saw as the hook for us to hang that on. And I think that's very much in line with kind of what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
so that's great. Thank you for taking the time to elaborate on that.
No, it's a really good question. I think the hook might be, can this guy actually kind of bring a goddess back? Because that's kind of what he's trying to do, right? So
yeah.
Is he crazy, or is this a real thing?
Right. Hey, and if he's right, and you know, maybe we could get in on the ground floor.
Well, and like the songs that you would be able to write being part of that are, you know, like that is literally an epic. So
yep.
Yeah.
Cool. The lay of Ulub and her faithful servant Lorcas.
That's a good, like, you brought up a good question though. Like Afik is all wonderment and starry-eyed and whatnot. That's how I see him anyway. You know, I guess from the way you played him last week. Like, what's wrong with him? What's bad about Afik? What's the negative?
Oh, I think it's right in that key of the lover and I think he doesn't necessarily have any actual real sincere appreciation of these things. That what he is seeking is the novelty. And like, all of us have friends that are like always into like the newest, coolest thing, the next, you know, and like, you know, we like, they'll always know what like the next trend that's around the corner is. But like, if you actually get interested in it and start doing it, they're already like, oh my God, that was 6 months ago. Especially all of us that have played story games have those friends that are like, you know, oh my God, I'm alpha testing this thing that's so awesome and it's, you know, it's gonna be great. And then, you know, by the time like whatever you get your Kickstarter copy, you're like, hey, that game you told me about, let's go play that. And they're like, what? No, I was done with that a year ago. Like I think he's kind of one of those kind of people, you know. But like, but again, because of all of our respective drives, it's a feature with us and not the bug that it would be if it were, you know, if I was hanging out with people that wanted to like actually settle down and get some kind of commitment out of me or something like that. So, you know, you guys are just as happy to move along to the next place. So that makes us good traveling companions, I think.
I think Afik and Lorcas are actually kind of foils of each other with those descriptions, because Lorcas is only looking long term, only looking to the day that Urub, you know, reveals herself, and Afik is only looking for tomorrow and what the next hottest, newest, coolest thing to do tomorrow.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that is that like neither of us can get the one without dealing with the other. Like Lorcas can't accomplish his long-term goal without he keeps traveling to all these places to find the things he needs.
Yeah.
And I can't get the novelty without hitching myself to someone who's got, some people who have a desire, some kind of specific long-term goal that drives them from place to place to place to place to place. So I think that's pretty neat. Those dichotomies are fun.
Right. And that's already worked out in that, of the rumors, we followed the one that appealed to Lorcas.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Whereas we were both like, I'd say both Doily and Afik kind of be, oh, shiny, let's go over there.
Yeah, but then I got wind of like a frog village that was different than the frog villages where I was from. So it's like, oh, that's new. Let's go see that. So it all worked out. We should start to play. Thank you for taking the time to answer that question. I really appreciate it.
All right. So the situation that your characters immediately find. Oh, one quick reminder. I like to play a kind of meta writer's room style. So we don't have to step out of fiction, but if at any point you're like, hey, can we hit this key? We'll talk about it out of character. We'll get back into character. So keep that in mind. Anyway, so there's slain snake people at your feet. There's a few frog people there as well. Some clutching their wounds, some clearly already dead. Maybe 20 paces away is that larger hut and the largest frog, the chieftain of the village. And just generally, it's a village that's just been raided. So I want to go around and just get a detail from each of you, the things that you see that tell about the relationship between these snake raiders and the frog people.
Wait, that we know about the relationship between the snake people? You want us each to give a fact about the relationship between the frog people and the snake people?
Yeah, and if you can, just tie it to the fiction, like something that you see going on, a conversation you overhear, just to get a little more insight into the relationship. So, whenever any of you have an idea, just raise your hand, and we'll take everybody in turn.
Okay, well, I could start. So the snake people knew that all of this was once theirs, and have a special resentment against the frog people because the swamp has been expanding, whether that's the influence of Lugbug, sorry, or not, so that the frog people have been kind of colonizing more and more of the territory of the snake people. And while the snake people still don't have big cities and they've become sort of more nomadic than back in their city building days, they still feel that they're. I mean, it's basically kind of colonist versus indigenous.
Cool.
Sort of thing. So these raids have become a typical part of their relationship.
Yeah. Awesome. Stephen, did you have an idea?
Yeah, sure. I wanted to see if you guys would be okay with this. I think it would flip things on their head a little bit based on, in part, what Jim just said. If, like, we were walking back to the village and we saw surviving snake people who were taken in the raid, a couple of them that were taken being sort of manacled and hauled off. And if we saw sort of bulk labor or grunt labor being done by these sort of enslaved snake peoples that the frog people had captured, are y'all cool with that?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Sure. Of what kind of snake slaves you mean?
Yeah. I think you mentioned that the swamps were kind of being colonized by the frogs, right? That they weren't necessarily, the snakes were the indigenous, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I think it'd be cool if the frog people were actually enslaving the snake people, you know, kind of as they captured them and as they took them through warfare and whatnot. And if we saw some of the snake people being forced to do work that we hadn't necessarily noticed before.
Yeah, well, maybe we could even say like one of these huts had caught fire, and already the snake slaves are being forced to put it out and starting to gather the materials and rebuild like minutes after this raid is done. Jim, did you have another idea to add?
I think that there are almost certainly in a frog village like this, there are like enclosed pools where the like there are just thousands of tadpoles swimming, right? Because like I mean what naturally happens in, you know, with actual frogs is that like a lot of those tadpoles, the bigger ones eat the smaller ones and stuff like that and everything, and maybe kind of when they're really small, that's what they do, and then whatever, a certain number of them survive and grow up to become actual frog people. Because we saw one of the, I think we saw one of the females was like covered in like a gazillion egg sacs and stuff like this and everything. So I think the point of the raid is to poison those tadpole pools. Like
Right.
they take some stuff and they all this kind of stuff and everything, but this is like a war of, you know, of basically like trying to get in and burn down the nursery. And I think that's the other reason why the frogs fight so fiercely, is because they know that that's what the snakes are after. Because the snakes could just raid, grab some stuff, and run without having this big knockdown, drag out fight. And so, like, however many of those pools there are, I think, like, you know, the snakes manage to like maybe partially contaminate one of them or something like that. And because they're all the same critters, and like kind of they're from the same place and grew up in the same swamp and stuff like that, the venom of the snakes doesn't bother. Like a bite from a snake person on a toad, or, you know, one of the toad's arrows that's dipped in the poison that they you know make themselves, those poisons don't work on each other. So they would need to get something super potent and toxic and actually carry it in with them to contaminate the pond. And it may be that they buy that poison from, you know, humans who don't ask questions, or maybe they harvest it from some monster or something like that. I'm totally cool with leaving that like up in the air as a thing to find out. But like the snakes are like that war of we want them gone. They're like, the point of this was to try and poison those like those enclosures where the you know the kind of they go through the phases of life to become actual frog people.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. That's great. Well, and it does kind of give reason for them to be up on this causeway that you guys ended up fighting them on, because that was like there was no strategic importance to that unless it was distracting from what the real purpose of the raid was.
Right, but there was also they carried off at least 2 chests that came out of the chief's tent, as I recall. So there is kind of something about that. But dovetailing on what Jim said, also, you know, we saw like that these things make lots of eggs. And you know, when frogs are out in the, you know, like, you know, before frogs are civilized and intelligent, they kind of make enough eggs to sort of replace the dying. But if they're actually if they've actually started doing more childcare than that, then their population is probably
numbers are going to go up quick. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which explains the sort of the frog expansionism.
Cool. So, all right, that's really cool. I like these details at the close of the battle. So, what are you guys intending to do here? Like, do you guys want to chase down the snake people, or are you going to talk to some of the frog people? Like you see, let's say you can see one of these pools that that Jim was talking about below you guys, and it's actually made out of mud, like enclosed mud and reeds, and you see it. It's like sizzling and boiling. Whatever they put in there, the chemical reaction is just boiling the tadpoles alive. So what? Seeing all this, seeing the destruction, what do you guys want to do?
I think I'd like to, I guess, spout lore, which is actually not very strong for me, but I think it fits more of like if I, you know, I mean, or because I don't have a special move in the Bard 2.0, I don't have a special kind of knowledge move, right? At least I don't with my starting moves. So I guess it would be more about. I want to know what this is and if I'm familiar with it, if I've seen it before, heard stories about it. So I guess that would be spout lore, right?
Are you talking about the pool that's boiling?
Yeah.
The poison, I think, right?
Right.
What kind of poison they use? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you could attempt to talk more about that.
All right. All right. So let me try this roller here that you linked us to. Let's see. So how do I do 2d10 on this? I see. I can click a d10. Oh, I see. I put a number of.
Yeah, you just put a number in next to it. Yep.
Okay. My modifier. This is wisdom, right? So I'm -1 on this.
Oh dear. Okay.
No, it's fun. Mrs. Are how you get XP.
Yeah, that's why I have so much. And did it give me? It looks like it rolled.
You should be rolling 2d6, not 2d10. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I heard you say that, but I was like,
I don't know why. I don't know why I said that. My mistake. My mistake. Okay. Let's see. So I think I don't understand the 1 and the 10. I guess I rolled a 3 and a 6, so I actually got a 10 on it. I mean a 9.
A 9, yeah, and then -1, so you're still a middle result.
Right.
So I'll tell you something interesting about this kind of a reaction. With the limited experience that you have with chemistry and magic and potion.
I think you mean alchemy.
Alchemy. It is a different thing. But the limited experience you have with that, your best guess is it would have to have been pre-created and like poured ahead of time. This wasn't something that they just like, came upon. It was an alchemical mixture that somebody must have made for them.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna after kind of wrapping a bandage around Tyr, who got snake bit on the leg. Kind of do a little first aid on him. I'm gonna approach the mayor, the king, the governor. Did we ever get an actual title?
I don't think we ever decided on it.
Sure. So I'm just gonna
like this, and it's kind of like French-ish is the naming scheme we've got going on. Do you guys have any ideas? Call him Baron? Or,
sure. I mean, he can just be, he can just be chief or whatever. That's Marquis. So
I like Marquis.
Cool. So the Marquis.
Lord.
What are you saying to him?
So kind of like I've got my spear back, and I'm walking up to him, and I say, Marquis, I know that we are just guests here, but I feel like we might be able to help if you have plans to retaliate for that. Because if I don't want to tell you your business, but I don't think you should let that stand.
I'm grateful. Who are you? Why are you here? I'm grateful that you fought so bravely. You killed many of them. You saved probably my life, if not more. But what are you doing here?
I kind of shrug and smile and I say, I'm a Feek. I'm a traveler from the south. I come to see sights that I haven't seen before. My friends here, and I point back at Doily and I say, that one is a bard and raconteur of consummate skill who seeks stories to fill his songbooks with. And that one, I say, pointing to Lorcas, is on a quest to restore a fallen goddess to her proper station.
And as you say that, Lorcas is like pointing or poking the mud for no reason whatsoever with a stick, and seems to be like carving, his name into the mud.
I'm grateful that you were here. Like I said, I don't know how things have gone on the bridge without you. Guy, and he's calling, and you see Guy, who you escorted here. Guy, gather a warband, chase them, figure out where they came from, which tribe.
Yes, Guy was a wonderful guide. He helped us find our way here.
Yeah, that you can accompany Guy. He will give you orders, and you can help gain our honor back. We've lost.
Excellent. I'm an accomplished tracker and stalker, and will happily aid you. These are I've not met these snake men before. They're vile creatures.
The worst. We've ever since we moved into this part of the swamp, they've been relentless in attacking us. They say that we took their most fertile lands. I'm not sure what that means, but we live well here and we keep to ourselves. They're the ones attacking us.
They don't have the look of farmers about them, to be sure.
Yeah, precisely. And as this conversation is going on, you hear at the far end of the village, kind of where you guys came in, trumpets blowing, and we're going to name him Alphonse. The Marquis Alphonse looks past you, and he looks to everybody around him. He says, I don't know those horns. Who approaches? And he starts heading that direction. What are you guys doing?
I just kind of, I shrug and cock my head to kind of look at those two and fall in step kind of, behind the Marquis.
Yeah, I want to follow it.
3 steps back, kind of off his shoulder, walking along with my spear. Someone that didn't know us might mistake me for a bodyguard of his, perhaps. So I'm just going to kind of wander along there with him.
Yeah, so as you guys are walking, Guy's gathering some men together. They've got sticks and small clubs and blow darts are like kind of their primary weapons. Together. And he says, "We leave in 30 minutes. Meet me at the main circle." And you guys would obviously know what that is. Meet me at the main circle in 30 minutes. We'll leave from there.
Very well.
So they've walked away from sort of the chieftain's hut, the Marquis' hut. Is that right?
Yep.
So I think as they were walking by, I think Lorcas just sort of turned his head from, scratching in the mud with his staff, and waited for them to move on for a ways. And if there's nobody around, he's going to walk over into the chieftain's hut.
I think there are some people there, but none of them. Like, if you start walking that way, none of them are stepping in front of you by any means.
Yeah, so Lorcas, again, just like dragging his stick in the mud behind him and kind of head down, just walks straight into the hut unless someone stops him.
Cool. Are you looking around?
Yeah, he's just curious. He's just looking around to see what's in there, and you know, he's keeping an eye out for tapestries of the sort that he already found anyway. But he's also just curious.
Cool. So I'll give you kind of what you see upon entry, and if you want to investigate anything specific, let me know. So it's fairly large, maybe 30 paces across. You know, a big circle. In the middle is a fire pit. The pit hasn't been burning. Maybe there's like a little bit of smoldering from the night before, and not against the wall, but a few feet from the wall, there's moss, a particular kind of moss that you've already seen in the marshes all around, just hanging there, right? And it looks fresh. It looks like they must rehang it every day or two because it's still wet. There's seating, and on the far wall, there's kind of like a broken section of the wood. Looks like where the snake people came in. And then there's one large, not a chair necessarily, a stump, a large stump. You can guess the chief is there.
Okay. Well, two chests came out of here, so he's going to look around a little bit more to see if there's a specific area where things might be hidden. Surely something else is in here.
Okay. Yeah, snooping around, you find one other exit. So if it's o'clock and 12 o'clock is where the chieftain sits, 10 o'clock is where that hole was broken, and 2 o'clock is where the this door is. And this door goes down onto a lower platform, and there's when you go down there, you realize this is kind of like a storehouse. This is where most of the goods are kept, and it's well fortified. You know, high walls, spiky bits poking off of it, a frog guard on top.
Okay. So it would not be easy to access. In other words, I couldn't just wander into there.
No, you'd probably have to talk to somebody or sneak past them if you wanted to get inside of that commissary area.
Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at my moves really quickly.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so is there any like shady area in between me and the entrance to the storehouse?
It's early morning, so the shadows are pretty long. I'm sure you could find a shadow, whether you have to dip into the water to do that or hide behind some of the posts that hold up the rest of the causeway. You could find some shadow.
Okay, so I think he's going to, you know, look around, take everything in, and then just sort of very calmly step back into the chieftain's hut. And then he's going to raise his holy symbol up above his head and just start whispering some syllables through his mask. And he's going to try to call out to Urub to draw the shadows around himself. So that's gonna be an invocation. Is that cool?
Yeah, awesome. Go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
Before we see your result, let's cut back to the other two real quick. So you guys aren't quite to the other end of the village, and a runner comes, and he speaks to the Marquis and says, they're here to make a treaty? And the Marquis says, stone people, stone. There's no stone people in these parts. He keeps walking along. Lorcas, what was your roll?
It was an 8 plus 2, so a 10.
So there's no cost to you, but as long as you stick to the shadows, you'll go unnoticed. So you can climb straight up to this wall. There's still like a battlement that you'll have to get over, or a door that you'll have to get through to get inside. But you are unnoticed for now.
Yeah, and I think it looks like him just sort of dipping his hand down into a shadowy area and like pulling it over himself. And as that happens, he just sort of becomes less visible, becomes less prone to being noticed.
Yeah. So what are you doing with your disguise now? Are you wanting to get closer even?
Yeah, so he's going to try to get inside, whether that means trying to like get through the door or go over the battlement, whichever seems easier.
The battlement's maybe 8 or 9 feet, so if you jumped, you could try and pull yourself up on it. The door, it was just an attack. We could say the door is broken if you want to swing it open.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, so he just very slowly pushes the door open so it doesn't creak, so it just looks like if there was a camera inside, it just looks like the door opened for no reason at all.
Yeah. And you spook one frog person, he kind of turns around, points the spear that way, and then moves to close the door. You'll be able to get through into the doorway first. Now, there's shelves, and the shelves have been knocked this way and that. There's pots broken on the ground. There's baskets overturned. When the snake people came in here, it looks like they were looking for something specific, and they left everything else. What are you doing?
Well, I'm sticking to the shadows around the edges and keep my eye on the guard. But I'm doing some first-class pilfering, I think, to see if there's anything of interest.
Cool. Yeah, let's have you discern realities.
Okay. Remind me what discern realities is plus. I'm gonna have to pull up the moves again.
That'll be with your
my wisdom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so with my wisdom, it's a total of 5.
Woo. All right. You are rummaging through some of these baskets, and then one falls to the ground, and you hear a loud croak, and look at everybody else. All right. So back on the walkway where most of the village is built on, you see 2 figures. One who's removed his hood, the other still has a hood. And it's like he said, it's a stone person. It's like a statue that's moving. It's made out of red rock. They both have big, long, like 9-foot spears. And upon seeing the Marquis, they hail him and they show some respect. They bow a little bit, and they say, "We are emissaries of Eli. We seek whoever is master of this land." Obviously, the Marquis would speak up and claim that. And he says, we're here to deal and to bargain for an alliance. Eli intends to rule these lands one day, and would rather rule them by means of somebody who knows them and can care for them well.
Oh yeah, that's the point at which I give these guys the serious side eye. Like now I'm like, whoa, okay. As our future subjects, we thought we should get to know you. That's where I kind of like, okay, where I kind of like take a couple steps around the side, and I'm, kind of like starting. And now I'm like seriously like scoping, like, how are they armed? Are there more of them hanging back? Maybe, than these just 2 that came up. What's the deal? Are they actually made out of stone? Is this some kind of elaborate armor? Is it whatever? So basically, I'm looking to see if I can discern the reality of what is going on here.
Yeah, go ahead and roll for that.
Cool. Let me. So that's plus wisdom, which for me is, I think, a +2. Make sure I know what I'm doing here. It's a +1. All right, it'll be a +2 when I level up. So let's see what we got happening. Roll for your party says 2d6. Oh, that's awesome that you got the map to be the background like that.
Yeah. I forgot to do it earlier.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay, so here we go. Boom. Oh, crap. It did that thing where I don't know which dice it is. So let me...
It'll be the 2 and the 5 because the 3 and the 6 is what was rolled before.
Oh, so there we go. So then that's a 7 and 9.
Cool. All right, so you get one question from Discern Realities.
So that question is going to be on the moves tab. This is very much what should I be on the lookout for?
Yep. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, let's just describe how dangerous these guys look, because is that kind of what you're hoping to understand?
Yeah, I mean, so my worry when someone shows up and says, "We just wanted to have a talk because you're going to be our future subjects," is that rapidly escalates into, and let us now prove why you are going to be our future subjects as we kick a bunch of ass.
Yeah.
So like that is the people don't talk smack that way unless they're incredibly arrogant, or if somebody takes offense, they can back it up. That's a lead in where you're almost begging somebody to take a swing at you. So rather than do that, I'd like I said, what should I be on the lookout for here?
All right. So as you're investigating them, they produce a small scroll. They hand it to the Marquis. They're blabbing about how powerful and wonderful Eli is, how great it is to be under his rule. And you notice one of these spears is made out of metal tip, and the other has this dark stone that kind of has a blue lightning cracks through it. What you need to be on the lookout for is these stone people, wherever they come from, are hardened, trained warriors, and a conflict with them would be quite costly, especially with magic weapons like they've got.
All right. So I sort of give them the side I like that, and I kind of sidle up to Doily, who has you walked up to take a look at this, right?
Yeah. Well, I basically you went off with the Marquis while I was over at the messed up pond. So I just kind of ran to keep up with you, and to the point where I didn't notice. I fell down from my usual job of paying attention to what Lorcas is doing, and he disappeared. He disappeared.
How much trouble can he get into talking to rocks? I say, unironically.
You really, you're not really in the imagination business, are you?
So I kind of sidle up. I kind of sidle up to you, and I say, these guys are tough. Those weapons are better than anything that these frog people have, but and I say you're better at you're better at getting away with impertinent questions than I am. So maybe ask them why, if they're so awesome, why they haven't done anything about the snake people yet.
Right, well, I'm going to go catch up to the king. I was actually going to catch up to the Marquis and basically offer my service as a diplomat.
Oh, sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. So
there's no reason why I can't say that, as you're walking up to him. So,
sure, absolutely. Sort of while I'm doing, I'm going to want to do another spout lore on these stone people. As I go through my mental Rolodex. I'm sorry, what?
If stories and legends might fit here better, have you heard of stone people, or or these weapons that they're carrying? Do any of those ring true to a legend or anything that you might be familiar with?
Oh,
Certainly those like those
wait a
like
minute. Oh, this is perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. So Spencer's played a bard before, so he knows. So actually, I go up to a Marquis. What's his name? Ambrose.
Alphonse.
Alphonse. And I say to him, I've heard about these guys before. I've heard that they've been on the move in other parts of the region. I've never experienced them. I've never experienced them directly. But I know some of what they've done. So now, is it that you tell me stuff or I tell you stuff?
So you roll plus your intelligence, and then on a 7+, I'll provide you with an answer. On a 10+, the answer will be more elaborate, giving you something immediately useful. So it's kind of it's similar but different to spout lore.
Sure. Okay. Let's see if we can do this a little more.
So, sorry. This is the step we almost skipped. Name the book, song, or story that you heard. I know you said that you heard about them wandering through. What?
Yes. Because I like to have them in the world. How about I heard about them from a gnome cobbler in Eelton.
Cool. All right, go ahead and get your roll.
Okay, so that's 8 on the die plus 1 is a 9.
Sweet. Yeah, so hearing you say this, the one who's speaking with the magical weapon, he says,
"Oh, do I have to yell this in their ear, or can I just come up to the king? This is like a public declaration? Is that what you're?"
No, I was assuming that they would have heard, because they're like in discussions with the Marquis. If you want to put the Marquis aside, that's fine as well.
I do, because I want to use this as an entree to offering my services.
Cool. Okay.
So offering my services to him on his side, as opposed to being some kind of neutral third party or something like that.
You just hit a 9?
The Marquis gives you his. Oh, go ahead. What?
You just hit a 9? Jim?
I hit a 9. Yes.
Yeah. Can I help him out to try and bump it to a 10?
Yeah.
I'm standing right there.
Yeah.
Does he roll on intelligence for this?
Well, I roll on whatever makes sense. Strength if you employ brute force. Like there's a list of what you roll on to figure stuff out.
So yeah, why don't you tell us what would you do that would help jog his memory a little more?
So it's plus wisdom if you rely on sharp perception or common sense. And so so that thing I said about I think I can he's like, I heard of these, this gnome cobbler told me about them, and I can say, and that's where I can kind of say based on their weapons, which are not from around here and look to be finely forged, there's definitely I can kind of like supply a little bit of that. Okay, here's what you've heard, but I'm telling you what I see in front of us that backs that bit up, that might also help. Like I described that special little lightning bolt thing that we saw on the heads of their weapons or whatever, right, to help maybe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your character seems to me to be sort of like a kind of a nature Sherlock Holmes. You're always kind of observing stuff and occasionally dealing with it.
Yeah. So let me. Yeah, I'm not big on book learning. I also kind of like the idea that my low intelligence is not that I'm dumb, but there's a lot of shit I just don't bother to retain because I don't think it's going to be useful in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like again, that thing where like, people that are smart, but because they're always thinking about the next thing, it's like they can't remember their phone number or whatever. So I think he's got a little bit of that going on. So let's see what we got for the help out here. So I'm rolling plus wisdom, which is +1. So let me get my 2 green dice. I'll submit that. And I only got a 6. Okay. So I did not help his roll, and something will redound to I don't help his roll, and I think we're stuck at a 9.
Cool. All right. So you get the Marquis's ear, and he says, "Tell me what you know." And what you can recall is that at the mention of Eli, there once was a prince of Eli, part of the ancient kingdom, and he was rumored to have been turned to dust. Nobody could kill him because he was so powerful, and so they had to cast a spell that would turn him to dust. And some of his final words, legendarily, were that he would return one day with an army of stone and reconquer the lands that were stolen from him.
So I would have, if I heard this from this gnome, who I think was probably a kind of a refugee from these stone guys from wherever the hell they come into the map. Was this before before these were the Snake Lands, or after that, or because now we have like kind of 2 ancient empires.
Yeah. So if you take a look at the map, so you guys are in the purple area, just to the right of Gilton. And that kind of desert savanna, the orange tiles, that's where these guys are from. So they're from the city of Alameen. You'd know that.
Okay.
So you're telling him this, and the Marquis says, "Thank you. Oh, that's treacherous, at least." And he turns back to the stone man and he says, "I will give you food and housing for a time while we can discuss a treaty." And let's cut back over to Lorcas.
Can I introduce one element? You said that Lorcas was pilfering and he knocked something off and it broke.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be cool if some of the storage containers in this area were actually like large snake eggs that have like large hollowed out snake eggs or empty snake eggs. So
cool. Yeah, I like that.
Broke one of those. Yeah. So just to introduce the idea that they're both after each other's young to make things a little nastier.
Yep. Yeah. So let's say it's one of these snake eggs that get knocked off, and it was holding like some kind of ground flour or meal or something, and that poofs and splashes on you, and the frogman that was by the door sees you suddenly. He holds his spear at you, says, "Who are you with? What are you doing here? Speak. You've got 5 seconds."
Okay. Lorcas starts his head back and forth and realizes that he's suddenly visible and there's no possible way for him to hide himself, and also that he's completely covered in white. And he reaches out his hand and he says, I'm a ghost, a terrifying ghost.
Then, as a ghost, you wouldn't be afraid of my spear. And it begins to advance on you, spear pointed at your face.
Sorry, dogs are attacking me. Lorcas says, that's absolutely right. And he begins to move forward toward the spear. And as he's moving forward, He's waving his other hand in the air, his right hand in the air, really to get the flower or whatever off of the hand as much as possible. And then that hand begins to snake into his robe toward that obsidian dagger that he has in his belt.
You know, let's. I'd like to have a defy danger with charisma here. See if
With
you
what?
with charisma. See if you kind of spook him with this, you know, calling his bluff.
Hey, more XP for you, man.
Yeah, that's not going to go great for me. We'll see, I guess.
It's a +0. It's not a negative.
Okay, I'm going to go purple on the dice. I got a 7.
All right. Yeah. So you advancing like this gives you enough time to get your hand on the dagger, because he recoils a little bit, and he hollers up. He's like, oh, shoot, I'm out of French names. He calls for the other guard though.
Pierre!
John!
Pierre, come down here quick! I see a ghost. All right, you've got your hand on your dagger. He's looking away. Spear's not pointed straight at your face, but he may still be ready if you strike.
Okay. Lorcas is going to take advantage of the moment and try to bat the spear away with one hand and go for the frog's throat with his other, with the knife.
Oh, geez. Okay. That's let's see a hack and slash.
All right. Now I've got sick checked. Is that a -1 to what does that do?
So sick is -1 to your constitution.
Okay.
All right, I'm weak. Gotta remember that.
Oh yeah, because your shoulder got cut open, so you've got to do something to take care of that.
Okay. I got an 11 plus 1 is a 12.
All right. Are you gonna open yourself up to attack and get an extra damage die, or are you gonna?
Oh yeah. That's how Lorcas rolls.
Let's see your roll first, and then he's gonna deal a d6 plus 1.
Okay, so my damage is d6 plus d6, right? So 2d6.
Yep.
Oh, a mighty 2.
Oh dear. Okay. Yeah. So you said you were going for his throat?
Yep.
All right. So the blade gets caught in in his armor right here near his throat. And how much damage did he do back to you?
Oh, sorry. He did d6 back to me as well. Then. He did 4 to me with the armor.
Ooh. Yeah. Let's say he drops a spear and he's got a knife at his hip, and so he's going to get you like kind of in the side, real good. And remember, you've got armor, so feel free to use that. So you've just started a scuffle with this guy. One of his friends is coming down the stairwell, or a ladder probably makes more sense. What are you planning on doing? Are you going to continue engaging here, or are you trying to get out?
I think Lorcas is going to try to end this one guy that's in here with him before the other dude comes down. So he basically is going to try to like silence him by putting his mouth over his throat and just continuing to like stab.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like more hack and slash.
In a frenzied Lorcas-like manner.
I can see why you don't stay around places long, Lorcas.
Yeah, when you actually got lethal with him, I was like, wow, he's really willing to turn. He saves some frogmen, now he kills some frogmen.
He got an 8, I believe. Last roll total is an 8. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys know this. You can click on the dice, and then there's a button for re-roll.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
The green button is re-roll selected.
Okay. Yeah, so total of 8 on the hack and slash.
Awesome. Okay, so then you're going to trade blows with him again. Why don't you give us the damage rolls, and then I'll let you narrate how it looks. So
Okay.
it's still a d6 plus 1 for him, and then a d6 from you.
Okay. I did 4 to him. He did 7 to me. I'm not coming off well in this exchange.
Right, so I'll add just one thing for you. So this is going to make quite a lot of ruckus. Like, I don't know if you want to knock something down or have shouting, but go ahead and give us a description of how you guys get at each other.
Yeah, so I think Lorcas has worked his hand up over the guard's mouth, and it's like I said, trying to just frantically stab down at him. And the guard is basically thrusting up toward Lorcas' stomach with his own small knife. So they're just going at each other. But Lorcas is also at the same time yelling with all this like banging and crushing. He's still sticking with his ghost routine and yelling, "Ooh, frightening things in the room. No one should come in here."
Lovely. Let's take a look at how the negotiations are going. So the last thing that was said was the Marquis said he would put these guys up for a couple of days, and arrangements would be made to, to meet with them and to negotiate with them. Now, you guys still had told, not my name, Guy, that you were going to go hunt with him, hunt the snake.
Yeah, boy, there's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, it's almost about time for that. So what are you planning on doing, the two of you?
All right, so it sounds like these stone people are put to bed at this point. So I just want to finish. Tell the Marquis that I'd be happy to be an advisor on a negotiation if he so wants, and tells him, I don't know, convince him somehow that I have some skill there other than just spouting lore.
Yeah.
And then I guess we should just run off and follow Guy. How does that sound to you? Because there's nothing. The stone thing is sort of stopped for now, right?
Well, I mean, I think we can. I mean, can't we try and recruit them to do this fight with us?
Oh, that's a thought.
I mean, because like,
if they want to protect their territory, they should be protecting it against
exactly. Like if they want to prove to us how tough they are, and who knows what sort of accidents might happen to them on a dangerous journey like this.
Right. I bet stone sinks really quickly into the swamp.
Just saying,
Cool. So it sounds like you'd probably want to side with the Marquis. So we'll let the stone people go off, and then try and convince Marquis to have them accompany you guys. Is that sound good?
So I mean, I guess it like if there's, yeah, sure.
You know what? Actually, probably more of the convincing would be for the stone people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because that feels like the active thing is trying to get them is us going and talking to them and saying, hey, you guys are so tough.
Yeah.
Here's a chance to prove it.
Yeah. So you make the suggestion to the Marquis, and he says, be my guest if they'll help. That'll prove that they're loyal to us and that they might actually be able to help us long term. So
Doyle, I look at you, I'm like, are you? And like, I kind of give that like, are you game for this? Like shrug that I give you guys sometimes.
Sure, absolutely. So we really need to think about Lorcas.
We just tell him. We'll just tell him that a rock said he should come, and he'll come along. So yeah, so like,
Reason I run back. I would run back and get him.
sure. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So
Okay, so I'm running back. I'm running back, not knowing anything about.
Sure. So then we'll stepping up out of the player thing for a second. I'm like, yeah, go. Let me just rewind that. I say, yeah, go tell him Arak said he should come with us.
Cool. So Afik, why don't you frame up this this scene of you convincing the emissaries to come on the hunt with you?
Well, trying to convince.
Before you do that, I mean, I would like to stick around and make sure that works first.
Oh, okay. So you're not rushing right away over to.
Right. Well, if I need to aid the roll or anything, I mean.
Okay. Cool.
So to speak.
Cool. So so are they're in one of the huts or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, they've got huts for guests and the like.
Did they give themselves names? Do we know their names?
They have not named themselves yet. No, let me.
Granite and Feldspar.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so you would be able to find out that the one who's been talking is Cedric, and the other is Elon.
Got it. So just like walk up to their hut, kind of do that thing where I like, do these huts have doors or whatever? Just like reed curtains? What's the deal?
Yeah, I think they're flaps of some kind.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So whatever. So I walk up and they got the flap of, the woven reeds or something like that. And I kind of do that thing where like, I kind of like wrap my spear against the, whatever, like the door frame, bap, bap, bap.
Yeah, they pulled back the flap and they said, "Oh, are we ready to negotiate so soon?"
Oh no. So I have heard so much about your people and your martial prowess, and I know that this is probably beneath you, but we're gonna go hunt some snake people that just had a raid on the village. And I would love to see you fight because I have heard about what those weapons can do, and just to see it firsthand would be amazing.
So we're here on a diplomatic mission. Our martial prowess is great, and you've heard correct, but
look,
this has nothing to do with the Marquis. I appreciate your request.
No. I mean, like, you missed an attack. They poisoned one of the tadpole pools. Everybody is furious. They're all super distracted. And like, if you want to like a leg up on this whole negotiation, going out and helping them smoke some of their enemies. I mean, I can't think of a better show of faith. Could you?
So Elon looks at Cedric. Cedric nods. Elon nods. They say, "Yes, I will stay here, and Cedric will come. It'll be good for us to learn more about the snake people as well."
Excellent.
So, yeah, they'll send one unless you want to try and do more convincing and get both of them to come.
Oh no, one is fine. Cedric, I cannot thank you enough for agreeing to come along. My name is Afik.
Afik. I know some traders with that name. Do you have any relationship to the people of Alameen?
I shrug and I say, I don't keep careful track of who my ancestors are. It's a common name where I'm from in the archipelago. Perhaps, perhaps not. Aren't we all related in a way? And I kind of chuckle.
All right, let's. A bit more time has passed with the two of you. Let's get back to Lorcas and try and resolve this fight.
So
Yeah,
so at this point, I guess I'm probably I've left Cedric and Elon, and I'm going back. Do I going back and either looking for or maybe hearing the Fuffle know exactly where he is.
Yeah, I'll pull you into the narrative when it makes sense, because like I said, he's
No,
probably
absolutely. I just wanted to set that up.
Yeah, 5 minutes, and maybe you guys have been at it for 15. So
yeah, I realize this is his spotlight at this point. I just wanted to make sure that I'm on the way.
cool. All right, Lorcas, you're trading blows back and forth. The second frogman, Pierre, appears, and he's got a club, and he starts running around the shelving. It's going to take him a few seconds to get to you. The other one's like, oh, you're wrestling with each other. You're all tangled up. What's the plan?
Okay. Yeah, so I think he's going to yell. He's going to like turn around while he's trying to subdue this frogman that's on the ground. And he hears the one coming up behind him, right? Like it's not going to be a surprise to him.
Yeah, this is no surprise. You've seen and or heard him for sure.
Okay, he turns to look at the one behind him, and he just like shoots an arm out and he hisses, "Urup!" And he's going to try to use a divine ward.
Awesome.
Which I really hope will work.
I do too. You're a pretty precarious situation.
Okay. And I rolled a natural 12.
All right.
That's a pretty good ward. So what I was going to do with that ward was an approaching enemy is driven back. Oh, but I get 2 of them. Can I also heal 1d8 damage?
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
Okay, then I'm gonna hiss Urub, and can I narrate it, or do you want to?
Yeah, you're gonna take a little more damage from the guy you're tussling with still, because that's going on. So roll a d4 for him, and then you're more than welcome to narrate how all of it looks.
Okay. So he's going to take 1 damage from him, and he's going to take 1 damage from him and get back 5.
Cool.
So yeah, I think. Hang on, I gotta write this down before I forget the math. I think what it looks like is he's trying to subdue this frogman that's underneath him, and that frogman is still like stabbing up into his gut, basically. But he turns back and he hisses Urub, and as he hisses Urub, the room just gets a little bit darker. The entire room. It's not like all the lights just go out, but it's like a large cloud just passed in front of the sun, and everything gets a little bit darker inside for a moment. I think what happens is the guard had already been hearing all this yelling about ghosts and whatnot, and when everything gets dark in the room all of a sudden, the guard that's coming up kind of turns around and runs out the door, even though he knows his friend is getting attacked by something. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, and so now the one I figure you're probably on top of him since you're larger in this wrestling match, right?
Yeah.
He's getting his feet up underneath you, and he's gonna try and kick you off. What's your reaction as he positions himself that way?
No, that wouldn't be very Lorcas-like. Lorcas is going to try to like roll off to the side kind of so that he can still stay on top of this guy. He's not going to go with it. He's not going to get kicked off.
Okay. Is that your dexterity then to dodge out of the way?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Once you, go ahead and defy danger with dexterity then.
Okay. Total of 9.
Awesome. So you'll, I'll give you a hard choice. So either you can stay on top of him, like you're not going to get flung, right? You can either stay on top of him and he'll get a one more slash on you, or you can let him go and take no more damage.
He's going to stay on top of him. Lorcas is in it to win it.
Okay.
I think. So
yeah, take another d6 plus 1.
Okay. I realize this isn't the tactically best thing to do, but so he'll take 3.
Okay. All right. You hear, the one that just left, he's starting to let out large, like really loud croaking noises. You assume it's some kind of an alarm. Like, that there's more frog people coming. Now, granted, the one you've been tussling with, he looks pretty worse for wear. Like, 1 or 2 more blows will probably kill him. But with a whole group of frog people descending on you in the next minute, what are you doing?
I think Lorcas like raises his hand up and then like hears frog footsteps coming as he's about to like try to sink in the last blow. And he like looks back and forth a few times, and then he tries to hot-foot it out of the storage chamber.
Cool. Why don't you roll with your dexterity again to get out of there real quick, and we're gonna look over at D'Oily. Now, D'Oily, you hear this loud croaking. You see frogs starting to run down a ramp towards where the croaking is coming from. What are you doing?
So as I'm running there and I hear the ruckus, I've unslung my lute, my LUTE, and I get in the tent and I see them. I see some kind. What do I see when I just come right in the tent?
All right, so I'm seeing you. You're entering that big hut that we described before with the hanging moss, right? And you see frog people like rushing down that, because it's kind of like a stairwell, or not a stairwell, but just like a bridge that goes downwards towards this. So you probably haven't seen the little fort thing that he's in, but you see frogs starting to run that way, and you hear the ruckus.
Okay, and I know it's Lorcas, so I strum a mighty chord on my lute, and I am going to sing a song. I'm going to sing a very kind of loud and anthem-like version of that frog song that I learned from. That was a favorite of Mene's, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think so.
With the goal of fascinating.
Awesome.
Go ahead. So mechanically, that's magical music.
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead and roll that. What did Lorcas get on that defy danger dexterity?
He got a 7 total.
Cool.
So this doesn't seem to add this for me. I'm a little confused. So I rolled a 4. It looks like I rolled a 4 and a 4. So then, I mean they're squares, so they're d6s, right? All right. So I got a 10.
Cool.
So let's see. I get a couple choices. I hold the attention of every intelligent creature that can see or hear me. while I'm doing this, and I'm basically using this time to check out what's going on here and get some sense of what's going on. Not that I can interview anybody or but people have all stopped, in their tracks. Sure. So I will pick one or more members of the audience. Gives you gifts,
Okay.
and I think fictionally it would work if a member of the audience requests my services.
Cool. All right.
I feel like I'm putting a lot in your lap right now, Spencer.
No, you're fine. Let's work both those roles. So, Lorcas, you choose not to finish this frog person off, and you start running, and you're able to find a ladder. And climbing up the ladder, you get to a space where you could see, that lake that this whole place is built on. You can dive into the lake, and you'll be home free for the moment. And maybe you even hear on the wind, just ever so slightly, the lute, and maybe that gives you a hint that somebody's got your back. Looking at the frog people who were starting to run down to the little fortified area, they stop to gather around you, Doily, and one of them comes and pulls this moss off of the ceiling and kind of lays it at your feet. A couple of them start dancing a little bit because it was like an up-tempo song, we decided, right?
Yeah.
And when you do end this song, however long you keep it up for, they some of them approach you and they're like, "You have to come back for the full moon festival. The full moon festival. Oh, you'd be so wonderful. You're much better than the singers that we have here."
I thank them. So Lorcas has left. Lorcas has left the building, so to speak.
Yep.
Okay. So then all I'm doing, and I could even see kind of rolling on this, or maybe you can just give it to me as a result of what I did, is that I'm trying to calm these guys down, and then I when I stop playing, I say, I see my friend is here. He is a holy man, and sometimes he is just overwhelmed by visions of his God, and sometimes he does things that make no sense to anybody. I'm going to go see to him. Has he broken anything, taken anything, or hurt anybody?
You'll hear news from the one who had left the building first and made the call for everybody to come. There was an evil spirit down there that assailed my fellow frog. Your friend wouldn't call evil spirits, would he?
Maybe it wasn't as evil as you felt. The world is deeper and stranger than we can imagine. But if anything has been harmed by my friend in the midst of in the midst of communing with his God, we will make that good. So let me go look for him and try to fix this situation.
Yeah. Going down there, you find this frog guy with multiple stabs, choke marks. However, you could see choke marks on frog skin. It's there.
Right. So and I do a little. I don't have this mechanically, but I I try to sing a soothing song. I don't know if you want me to do sort of maybe because I know they're still upset. Defy danger, charisma, or something like that, or you want to just give it to me with the.
Well, just tell me what you're doing, because from what I've heard so far is you've got the everybody calm down. The question is whether this one that's been injured would be able to identify Lorcus or not. So there's no like immediate threat anymore that you would need to defy danger charisma with that I
Okay. All right, sure. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to check on the one that's injured. Fortunately, if he hurts someone, I know he can heal them as well. And so I'm just checking out that the whole situation and sort of trying to figure out the social calculus in my mind about what to do next. And so once I've made that observations, I'm proudly spouting my moss, put it around my neck like it's a lei, and go find Lorcus.
Yeah, I'll give you this one detail, and then we'll go on break. As you're taking care of the injured frog, he just keeps on like mumbling. It was terrifying. He had a metal face. He was made out of metal. I think they call them machines. They're from the ancient world. Terrifying. And then let's take our break here. We're about halfway through, so we'll see you in 10 minutes. That's 4:22 by my time.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, you're gonna have to kill him, otherwise he will find you out. Hey, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing something with that last scene, because it looked like you were asking like if you needed to do a defy danger charisma. Was there something that you were going for specifically that I missed?
Well, before I had I had thought he would. I thought that Lorcas might be actively engaged with that. So I was basically thinking, not knowing what was going on in there, but knowing something was going on there, I was going to go in, draw a lot of attention to myself, freeze the situation, but that wasn't going to necessarily fix it. I mean, that makes everyone like me, but I have to then extend my protection to Lorcas.
Yeah.
And I figured that doesn't sound actually like the magical music, but that did sound like a defy danger charisma.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyway, that was my thinking, and you played it so that he'd already left, so that wasn't really necessary.
Okay. Cool. I just wanted to make sure that I hadn't totally missed something, but I'm sure there will be opportunities in the future for you to vouch for him.
Yeah, that seems to be a pretty ongoing dynamic.
All right, cool. So I think the next most interesting thing is we'll see the two of you who are still in the Frogman village gather up with Guy and set out, and we can say you'll be able to spot them as they're leaving Lorcas. And if you want to join up with them, or if you want to signal them, we can do that there. Am I missing anything before you guys set out to chase down the snake people?
Just leave a whole bunch of chaos back at the village. Sure.
That's the nature. You can only be in one place at one time, right?
And I think it looks like they're walking away along a causeway or something, and Lorcas just like this trail of bubbles just sort of approaches the causeway. Then Lorcas just walks out of the bog and washes himself off and is dragging his staff behind him and just doesn't really say anything. He's bleeding from a bunch of cuts, and he just sort of falls into line and keeps going.
Yeah, Guy would probably take notice of you and mumble something about, I thought there were 3 of them. But that's, yeah. Nobody else was in the room that you were trying to murder that frog in, so I think you're pretty safe at this point. All right, it sounds like Afik would probably be the best person to scout ahead and try and track these snakes. What do you think?
I think I am a ranger in that I actually have a move for this. So let's take a look and see what we got going on here. Hunt and track. When you follow a trail of clues left behind by passing creatures, roll plus wisdom. And then stuff happens. All right, so let's see what we got as we're trying to track them down. Okay, so I got a +1 on this roll. 8 + 1 is 9.
I want to remind you, since your boar has the track by scent, you can in any of these kinds of moves. It just also makes him open to the consequence, and so it would give you a further +1 if you want.
Oh, it would.
Nice.
I mean, if you'll let me retro do that, so I go to a 10, I'll do that, or I can just take it under advisement for next time.
Yeah. We can do it now, and then just in the future, just if you don't include it, I'll just assume you're not including him on purpose.
Sure. I think I just want to let me just take a look here. Yeah, one of his moves is track by scent. So there we go. That's right. I took track by scent and trample, break, and wreck. So he absolutely can help with this. So he's got his nose to the ground. Every now and then he'll shove his snout down into something, and he'll come up with he'll and his head will pop up, and he'll have a little dangly piece of shed snake skin hooked on one of his tusks or something, and we're Yep, this is the right direction. So when I hit a 10 on my tracking roll, what happens is I look up the result. It says on a 7+, you follow the creature's trail until there's a significant change in its direction or mode of travel. On a 10+, you also choose one. Gain useful information about your quarry. The DM will tell you what, or determine what caused the trail to end. So we're going to follow the trail as far as it goes.
Okay. And so you want to find out what caused it to end?
Well, assuming that it does end. I mean that choice presumes that at some point you hit a dead end and not like just come to where they are.
Perfect. All right.
Or at least that's how I read it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think it may end by you catching up to them. We'll see. So one thing that happens as you're tracking is Elon, who's the stone person that's coming with you. Now, actually, I keep on calling him a stone man. I think D'Oily would be able to tell. He's not like humanoid. He's humanoid, but he's not like a man carved out of stone. He's actually a hobgoblin carved out of stone. So, D'Oily, where have you seen, and how long ago since you've seen a hobgoblin?
Okay, I'm just putting this in my notes.
If you want a minute to think.
No, I could be cruel and say, well, I think I've seen one in one of the circuses.
Oh, okay.
In what is it, Eelburg, Eelton?
Mm-hmm. So traveling circus.
Like they're not a threat in that civilized area, yep. Right? So they're not. I guess they're not. I guess they are an intelligent species, so maybe that doesn't make sense.
No, I think that's a great answer. That he was performing some kind of acrobatic or feat of strength in a circus that travels through Eelton. Now, when
he was a fire eater, he was okay. So let's have him be a performer. I was having him be kind of a sort of more like in the freak show, but sure, let's have him be a performer. He was a fire eater and a wild boar wrestler.
Cool. All right. And how long ago was it that you saw this particular hobgoblin? Has it been several years, or is he with them every year when they come through?
Okay. So yeah. So annually. I didn't go last year, so it's been a couple of years because I was out trying to, I was trying to compete last year with them. Draw my own crowd.
We have established with my Gauntlet Con game that there is a gigantic festival every year in Eelton when they like pack all the eels and they bring them all in from the farms and the wild eels that they catch, and there's like a great big festival where kind of they buy and sell them in massive quantities. They're pickling them, they're salting them, all that kind of stuff and everything.
Do they make a giant wood eel and set it on fire?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's like when you live in a village with a lot of reed houses and stuff on stilts, they don't do a lot of stuff with fire. I think I would just go out on a limb and speculate on that.
Right. Well, that's actually why this hobgoblin being a fire eater was kind of
yeah. I think that's totally cool, and absolutely there would be a circus that would know this is the time when there's people. That's when you hit Eelton, is when the big eel. When the annual eel extravaganza happens. So
awesome. So let's resolve that roll that you had made. So you guys follow. You can see more of these paths coming together. You keep on seeing the size of this crew grow larger and larger, and it's a little past high noon, and you get to this hillock, and in the distance, not like further even than a bow shot, you can see smoke rising, and it's a pretty good guess that that's where their trail has ended, that they've stopped to cook some food, or some reason they've got a fire lit off in the distance.
I'm going to choose to gain useful information about my quarry.
Awesome. Sorry, did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Fair. They're playing music. They brought an accordion.
So,
useful information.
The useful information about your quarry is the number of snakes that have gathered together in this trail.
That is useful information.
There are 16 altogether, individual trails that you and your track. So, and with you, will somebody roll me 2d10? Let's find out how many frog people came with you.
I'll roll that up since I'm with the party here. 2d10, eh? Let's see what we got. Bam, that looks like 3 and 2 is 5.
Woo! All right. So it's the 3 of you, 5 frogmen, 1 hobgoblin stone soldier, and Guy. So you relay this information to everybody. What do you guys want to do, knowing that they're just over the next couple of hills, and it seems like they've stopped for a few minutes?
Well, I should think that if the point is to murder them, then we want to murder them while their guard is down.
Lorcas nods enthusiastically.
Oh, I love it when Lorcas has some enthusiasm. That's always great. Well, there is a thought. I said, well, you know, maybe is it Elon or Cedric who's with us? Not that it really matters. I say, oh well, actually, all right. So yeah, so I'm actually Afik is actually not with the party. He's ahead of the party. But I guess he's coming back to report. And I go over to Elon and say, well, this would be a good time to prove your mettle by just taking them all out.
I will slay as many as I can. We are hardy folk. We pride ourselves in battle. In fact, I was forged for battle.
He's a stone forged.
You may call it what you like. But I'm born of the great hobgoblin. The earth we walk on is the body, and I am made from it. So then, are you guys just going to keep on walking straight to this camp? Do you want to cut to when you guys are getting closer, and you can describe how you approach the camp?
I think we can cut to us setting up our ambush. Yeah.
Right. And I can. I kind of wanted to separate out Elon. I'm not sure that's going to work though, but I'm going to deliver a stirring speech to set us off.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's awesome. I'll totally pause for that.
Yeah, let's get that stirring speech, and then we'll cut to you guys trying to set up an ambush.
Okay. Just a second. All right, I actually have one prepared if you want to hear it.
How could we say no to that?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. His foot should stamp and his throat should growl, his hair should twirl and his face should scowl, his eyes should flash and his breast protrude, and this should be his customary attitude. Boom.
Wonderful. Yeah, you even get a stone clap.
Oh, I guess I need to roll for this.
Yep. Let's see your roll. Let's see how inspired everybody feels.
Sure. Whoops. Do not really understand this die roller very well, but
okay, so you got a 6 then?
I don't know. It just what the hell?
Well, so the newest dice appear on the right.
Okay, but it looks like it rolled 6 dice instead of 2. So
Well, yeah, it just stacks the dice, so it just kind of shifts the old ones over. If you add,
okay. So in other words, I rolled a 4 and a 5 plus 2, so that's an 11.
no, you rolled a 2 and a 2 plus 2 is 6.
Oh,
So look
okay.
what it is, last total. That's where I always look to figure it out.
Where it says total.
Yeah, last roll total is right next to a feat's name.
Oh, 6, 4 plus 2. Okay.
Cool.
Great. And so, oh well, 6 is not unless someone can has some thought on how to aid me. That's the speech is not going to be as stirring as stirring as I want.
So, Jim, if you're trying to talk, you're muted.
I am muted. Do you get any bonuses to that?
He already got his bonus to that.
Yeah.
Oh, the 6 is
4 plus 2 for my charisma.
Oh, 4 on the roll plus 2 for okay, got it. Cool. Yes, yeah. So he's doing that, and I kind of like I've got my bow out, and I'm absently kind of like I sort of absently kind of like start like plucking my bowstring as he's singing his song. And it's kind of like twang, 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 as he's doing his little rap or whatever, singing his song. Like it's not much to go with the lute, but it's maybe like a little bit of kind of percussion to provide a backdrop, and maybe that'll give it the little oomph that it needs to actually hit with the audience. So let's see what we got there.
Let's have you perform with him. I think that'll be charisma. It makes sense to me.
Could I argue that it's Dex because all I'm doing is keeping time?
I think that's a pretty big stretch. I think it's charisma because it's like a performance.
Sure, there we go. I am terrible at this. So
you're treating this like a berimbau, which is that instrument they play during capoeira, which is just a single string on a bowling thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like an instrument played during capoeira sounds like the kind of thing I would have seen in my life. So, all right. So I got this charisma. That's only a 0. I'm just making a straight roll. It's not my dumpiest dump stat. It's not the dump stat that intelligence is. So let's see what we got here. So I will highlight my 2 dice and click reroll selected. And that's a 6. So there we go. All right. So I get an experience point, but nobody is super impressed with my twang and my bow.
Cool. Yeah. Remember to take your experience point as well. All right. So
why would I get? I mean, but I got a. Oh, right. 6 is a failure.
You missed the roll, brother. That's why.
So yeah, you're giving this this little speech, and you're cautious. You're not being too loud, but you hear rustling in the reeds nearby, and I think you'd probably be able to spot maybe 50 yards down 2 snake people slithering quick as they can towards that campfire. If you don't take them out quick, they're going to alert everybody to your coming. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to certainly try and put an arrow through one of their skulls.
Cool.
I literally had my bow out and was twanging it, so let's just like, whoa, boom, and
they're definitely in range for the moment.
Quick as a lick. So just volley.
Yep.
All right. See what we got.
Could I toss my dagger?
You'd have to catch up to them a little bit. They're like 50 paces off. They're like at bow shot. So if you caught up to them a little bit, you could.
So can we just let's just pause for a second and let me resolve my move, and then we can move on to the next thing. So give me just a second here. I got to go back and forth between tabs. So, all right, I got Dex of +2. So boom, 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 reroll. That is a 6 and 2 gets me an 8. 7 and 9, choose 1. I I need a couple. So like, boom, first shot kind of whips into the reeds and I need to use it to find the range. And I got to take a couple more arrows, zing, zing, just kind of in rapid succession. So that's going to cost me an ammo to land this shot.
Cool.
It takes a couple of 3 arrows to kind of find the range, and they slither out of the way of the first couple, but then one of them hits. So
how much damage do you do there?
I believe I do a D8. That is my standard damage. Did we heal it all from last time, or are we still walking around with whatever damage we took?
Yeah, you guys haven't rested.
Yeah, we haven't really taken. Yeah, we've kind of been on our feet the whole time and haven't really paused to do anything. So okay, so I got a D8 here. One of those, color green. Boom, that's a 5. Nice.
Sweet. And then you got +1 from your hunter's bow as well, so that's
right. I do. Yep. So 6 damage.
Let's say you hit this one kind of at where the hip would be on a person, and it's like it's moving real slow. It's it kind of reaches for the other one, and he slaps his hand away and just keeps on going. So one's still moving quick. The other one's he's not dead, but he's down for the count. What are the other 2 of you doing?
I'm gonna try to catch up with him and toss the dagger. But since I've already urged what's his name to the stone goblin to go out in front, I don't particularly care if I get him, but I'll make it look good.
Are you trying to get the one that's still running or the one that's weakened?
I think this would have been unless I am so he's already made the shot, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to try for the other one that's running to slow them down.
All right, let's see if you can get close enough to him to get that dagger off, since he's already moving pretty far.
Sure.
So defy danger with dexterity, and then let's take a look at what Lorcas is doing after we get your result.
Okay, so that's 2d6. So it looks like that's so confusing because I did have 2 2s and then it just added 1 more 2 in front of it.
So something you can do here, I'm going to clear all these white dice out. And then what you can do is you can just click on a couple of dice and hit reroll. And then you're not adding more to dice and you don't have to worry about.
Okay.
Go ahead and just roll your roll again, because it looks like you submitted several times.
All right. I'm sorry. I've never seen this app before. It has me confused. Oh my gosh.
All right. It takes some working. Hey, there you go. That's good. All right. So yeah, you're sprinting along. You pretty quickly pass the one who's like squirming there on the ground, and you finally line up your shot, and you'll be able to. You're within range to throw a knife at the other one. Let's hear what Lorcas is doing before you.
Okay.
That though.
Yeah, so Lorcas is really cognizant of the fact that he doesn't necessarily want the frogs to realize that he's all about kind of powers of darkness and whatnot in light of recent events. So he sort of fades back to the back, which he's reasonably good at. And then just makes some symbol or some signs in front of himself while he's holding up that holy symbol. And he's going to try to draw the aid of Urub to do something cool. So he's going to try to use an invocation.
Cool.
So total of 9.
All right. So you grant your blessing, but you also have to choose one of the requirements below.
Yeah. So how dark is it? Is there like a I don't even know if we have a moon. Is there a moon or moons or?
Well, so it's like 1 in the afternoon. It's pretty bright out.
Oh, for some reason I was thinking it was evening. Okay, well that helps. Okay. Can I have like? I mean, these guys are running through what kind of terrain?
It's swampy. It's the same kind of swamp you've been in this whole time. There's pine trees. There's some reeds every once in a while. There's lots of embankments of sand that kind of shift every few weeks. Lots of small pools of water.
Okay, so there must be some shadows just cast by the light, even though it's nearly noon. I mean, just some little pools of darkness and whatnot. Could I have those just sort of slow the snakes down? Could they like trip them a little bit just to, you know, not do any damage, but just cause them not to be able to get to the camp quickly?
Could we kind of flavor it as like the shadows start casting in front of this one that he's taking aim at, and it slows him down, not because it actually like physically impedes him, but it makes it look like there's barriers in his way or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like shadow. Maybe the shadows look like stones or pools or something like that, and
pools look deeper. There looks like there's stones there where there aren't.
Okay.
And then which requirement are you going to choose?
The deity demands, so Ulub demands something in return. The GM will tell you what.
Awesome. Yeah, as they would say in the South, you have this feeling put on your heart, and it's like an intense burning desire. You feel like it's a message from Urup herself, and you need to confront Elon about this primordial hobgoblin who claims to be, you know, to form the earth, to be the great one, because she's a little jealous.
Okay, so instantly he sort of like glares daggers at Elon.
Cool. So I think let's hop back over to Oily. You had just lined up a shot. That shot is even more clear now. We'll give you a +1 forward to this knife throw.
Okay, and I'm +1 back, so here it goes. Ha! Snake eyes.
Oh no. Okay. Your knife. Yeah, take your XP. Your knife is going to land true. Go ahead and roll your damage, and then I'm going to make my move.
All right. Okay, and I am a D8. Oops, but that's a D10. Okay, wow. Clumsy, but well damaged.
Awesome.
8 points.
8 points. Yeah. You somehow score the hit in the neck, and she just goes down. The terrible news, though, is that so your frog people have started chasing. They're kind of strung out between the two of you, who fired the bow, cast the spell, and where Oily is, right? The hobgoblin has caught up already to about where Oily is. Maybe he's 10 paces away. He's stabbing the one who's on the ground, giving out a good war cry. And then you guys start hearing like this rattling noise from both sides, and the snake people have ambushed you. Darts start flying, arrows. So each of you are going to take a d6 of damage from all these darts and arrows that are flying through the air. And then I'll just roll. Ooh. So go ahead and just mark that on your sheets. You see two of the frog people get taken out immediately as well. So there's only 3 frog people, and then Guy and the rest of you.
Huh. Oh gosh. Yeah, it might have made sense to heal before going out.
All right, you start seeing them appear on either side. You're not quite sure of the number yet, but what's your all reactions? Afik, we haven't heard from you in a minute.
So, like, they're on both sides. It's an ambush. There are darts flying and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to do the obvious thing and, like, 3 steps spin and, like, just smack my back up against the back of the dude made out of stone. And I've got my bow out, and over my shoulder, I just say to him, now's the time to show us what you're made of, brother. If we move with each other, they won't be able to take us from behind.
So it'll take you a short minute to get up to him.
Yeah, sure.
Up there. So let's have you see if you get hit any more with these darts as you kind of go to him for cover. Either dexterity or con. I think either makes sense. Fictional.
Oh, I think dexterity. This is very much the, like, dart, spin, whirl, cartwheel on one hand to, kind of like jumping over little pools and stuff like that. Maybe even a thing where I get across a long puddle and I do that kind of elf-like jump, like take a single step on the water before I kind of skid to a stop in behind him. So we'll see if when I get there are any darts in me or not.
Cool.
So I'm going to defy danger dex here. Boom, 7 and 2 gets me to 9.
Awesome. So yeah, you'll be able to make it to him. And I don't think I mentioned he has a shield. He's got a shield and spear. Sorry if I didn't mention that.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. All the more reason to stand behind him.
Yeah, and he shouts out, I will protect you. So you guys are together.
I kind of mutter under my breath. It's like, yeah, okay, we'll protect each other, pal.
As you're running though, you see Guy get caught in a noose. And he's stuck there. He's not able to move. He's trying to cut his way out of it. And
Okay.
2 people slithering towards him. He's, just so everybody's aware of his fictional positioning, he's between where you started running and where you are now. So maybe 10 to 15 paces from where you are. Lorcas or D'Oily, who has an idea what they want to do?
Is the whole battle area basically flat?
Yeah, there's some reeds, some trees obstructing, but it's not very hilly at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to overuse my magical music. So I am going to dash over to where Guy is and with my dagger out and kind of roll past there and cut the rope while trying not to get hurt.
Awesome. I love that. Try not to get hurt. I think that's a dexterity, a defy danger with dexterity as well. And
it sounded that way to me. Okay. And I still don't know how to use this die roller, so I'm gonna add some more dice here.
Physical dice, you can.
Yeah, I just don't know which ones to, because then I have to add something in. I don't know how to add in the.
For what it's worth, I never add it in on the program. I just roll the dice on the program and then add it because I know what my static bonuses are.
Yeah.
Okay, and this said last roll 12 plus 1, so that's obviously wrong because I did. Well, I guess 2d6, 2 6s plus 1. Okay, so that's a 13. So I guess I defied pretty well.
Yeah, so we'll let you get him loose, and we'll let you take a free strike at one of these guys. He got over eager charging, you know, and so how do you want to attack one of these guys that was bearing down on D?
Well, um, as it comes to mind, yeah, there's one of them that's sort of running along along the noose that caught him, and I do sort of an acrobatic, just slash across him as I tumble towards the noose and cut it, landing on my feet in a crouch.
Awesome. Go ahead and roll your damage. Let me know how bad you hurt him.
Okay, so I'm going to try this now. I am going to see if I select this D8, and then I can re-roll selected.
Yep.
And 7 points of damage.
Beautiful. You don't have +1 to your damage, do you?
I don't see why I would.
Okay.
Wait. Let's see. No, right. Yeah, no. It's a.
Some weapons do. It depends on what you got as a weapon.
Right. If I'd had my elaborately crafted longsword as my weapon of choice, then that would have done that. But no.
Okay. You take off one of his arms though, and he's like screaming at that. So, well done.
Snake arms. I guess so. You on T, right? So.
In the middle of an ambush. Oh, Steven, did you freeze? No. Okay. Marcus, it's up to you. What are you doing?
I'm just very stoic. So Lorcas, true to his nature, hits the ground. I was going to ask Doily, where is Doily like injured?
Doily has gotten 2 significant hits. I don't know where my last injury was, but I have a shoulder injury that has me down like bloodied in 4th edition terminology.
Okay. So I think Lorcas hits the ground as a result of all these flying darts and whatnot. And as Doily runs, he leaves some blood on some of the reeds that he brushes by. And Lorcas notices it. Is that fair? And Lorcas whispers under his breath, "Urub, your servant still needs you." And I'm going to try to cast an invocation on, or a divine ward rather, on Doily.
Cool.
Yes, please.
So you don't die. Last roll total looks like an 8.
Awesome.
Okay. So I'm gonna heal Doily for D8. Do I roll that or does he?
It doesn't matter. You can.
Jim, why don't you roll it so you can't blame me when you get a 1?
Okay, well, I'm just going to, I've rolled a 7 and 8 on this one D8, so I'm going to just try this one again and see what happens. I guess I rolled a 3. Yes.
3.
All right.
Okay.
So again, not my fault. But yeah, so that.
Oh, and the last time I took a hit, I forgot I had armor on, so I'm up to 7. So I'm up to, great. I'm just barely bloodied.
Did you get a 10+ on that?
On mine?
Yeah.
No, I got an 8. So yeah, it drew unwanted attention, whatever you interpret that as.
Let's interpret it as another couple of darts headed your way. Take a D6.
Okay. Okay, that's not bad. Just 1 with armor.
Awesome. Okay, so now that the battle has progressed a little bit, the battle lines are drawn a little more clearly. So there's a little bit of a rallying point around Elon and Afik. The other two of you are about 15 paces away, not too far off though, and 10 to 15 paces away from all of you on all sides. There are a total of 6, 7, including the one without an arm, and then there's more still in the bushes that you could see that are firing darts. So let's hear from Afik. What are you doing?
This looks like it's time for a fighting retreat to me. Well, actually, let me rephrase. I am back to back with my Stoneman friend, and I say to him, I think there are too many of them, unless you're about to do something insane. If you want to be alive for the negotiations, we probably should go now.
I will protect you.
And he stays planted when he says that.
So when he says that, I was intending for you to kind of tell him what you wanted him to do.
Oh, got it. Okay. I mean, are the darts just kind of bouncing off of him? Does that seem to be? I mean, oh, he's got that big shield.
Yeah, he's got a big shield. We can say, like, it's pretty clear that being stone and having darts hit you, he doesn't seem to be too pained by anything.
Got it. I say, okay. I point at the whatever the 4 or 5 of them that are coming up with their blowguns, and I say, okay, stay between us and them, and we're gonna get out of here. I think we've made our point. I say, kind of optimistically, and
why don't you roll with his quality. Let's see how well he does this. So he's going to be a +2 to kind of give you guys shielding and protection.
So what is this? A retreat that's like is? Are we defying danger to back out or what?
Yeah, I'm treating him as a follower. So this is just for him to give you cover, so the darts aren't going to hit you guys much anymore.
Sure. So fighting retreat. What do I? Can we just back out, or do I have to roll something?
You guys are surrounded. You're going to have to kill somebody to get out of this.
Oh, got it. Oh, we got to. Sorry, I wasn't clear. We got to make a break in the line. In other words, okay. So if he's on my back, and and the darts are going in there, we've got one guy that's there. And like whatever, snake blood is spurting out of his arm. I'm gonna put an arrow through his throat so that he shuts the hell up, and we can get out over his Ophidian corpse, hopefully. Let's see how that works. So here we go with coming at you. 5 and 2 gets me a 7, so that's my 7 and 9. And he's already pretty busted up, so it's not a great shot. I'm only going to do half damage, but hopefully that should be enough to take him off his feet. Right? He's hurt pretty bad from looks of things.
He's pretty hurt.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to roll a d8 + 1 and then knock that in half, I think is how that works, right?
Yep.
I got 3, 1.5, 2 points of damage.
All right, you finish him. Yay.
Cool. Excellent. All right.
Cool. So there is a small gap. Here, let me just draw this out since it's getting a little weedy here. All right, so we got a dead one there. Okay. So, am I here? All right, so this is the one he just killed. So there should be one more, sorry. There's that gap that you guys can try and run through. These markings here are where the darts are coming from in the bushes. So, are you guys planning on all just bolting out of there? What's the intention here?
Absolutely not. I want to do my. I'm a harper, and I am going to take a bold action, and I'm gonna sing another song.
Okay.
And this is everybody who can see or hear me. will be enraptured unless I do a really poor job. And since it's 10 after 8, I won't sing a song, but imagine that I did. So let's see here. Gosh. So I'm going to do just 2d6, and I'm going to do my own addition on here.
Cool.
Okay, so that's 10 on the nose. And I am singing a song. Maybe it's a retreat song, like, Brave Sir Robin, he ran away. And as I am singing, I am walking around disarming the snakes, since they're enraptured.
I'll give you the caution. If you start taking things away from them, that's gonna break attention for sure.
That's gonna break attention.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am singing, and then as I am singing, I'm going to poke my party members and say, "Let's go," and give them the nod, and then and we'll leave until we're far enough away that they can't see me anymore, and then we're gone.
So this is the only challenge I see to this plan, is if one of the frog people or Elon makes some kind of aggressive action, the spell's going to be broken. So what are the other two of you doing to prevent them from attacking any of the snake people?
I think Lorcas is like scrambling out of the circle like a spider, and maybe he sees Elon like moving toward, like charging toward the snakes while they're distracted, and so he just sticks his staff in between Elon's legs and trips him.
Cool. What do you think's appropriate for that? Strength, dexterity?
I think it's a dex to see if he can actually thread the needle.
Yeah, if you get in there at the right time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my dex sucks, so that was a very honest answer. I should have lied more. 10. So I got a 9 total.
You know what? I just realized. Hold on to that. It was a 9 total?
Yeah.
Your song is going to enrapture your whole party too.
Right. So that's why I have to, while I am singing, I'm going to be like poking them.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. Sorry.
That's what I was doing. Is I'm rousing them, but continuing to sing to keep enchanting our opponents.
You had said that it didn't register. You're good. Okay. So, on a 9, you're going to prevent him from making the strike. You'll trip him. I'm trying to think of a cost. Do you guys have any ideas for a kind of a soft move here?
My staff might break because
that's exactly what I was going to say. Yep.
Yeah.
Or he could bump it. He could bump into one of the snakes and rouse him, so that there's only one opponent left.
For the record, I like mine better.
Okay. Yeah, kind of like I'm cool with the fight kind of being over. Yeah, busting his staff, so he's got to replace it as a.
Yeah, I think Jim waking one of them up would just domino effect it. So let's.
Okay. Too hard. Uh-huh.
And what about the frog people? As you're poking them awake, Afik, what would you do to kind of corral and control the frog people so they don't?
I say, I just say, my friend has ensorcelled them. We need to leave now before they wake up.
Cool.
I'm telling them exactly what is happening in as plain language as I can. We need to leave now.
Let's go with a defy danger on wisdom. Like you're making a clear argument. Like
sure, I am
you're
making
dead if you don't.
Yeah, wisdom ties into common sense. So that is a 10 and 1 is 11.
Beautiful. All right, so you guys are going to be able to get out of this trap. you sneak your way out and away. How loud is your lute? Are you like 50 paces away before they start? They can't hear you anymore. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
They gotta see him, right?
See or hear.
Yeah, see or hear.
Right. So, sure, I'll take 50. I mean, it's an acoustically well built acoustic instrument. So,
yeah. So it's like a far bow shot.
Right, and I have a loud voice.
Yeah. So let's call it there, because I think if we get into anything else, we'll probably run out of time to complete it. Man, I thought you guys were dead. I thought I had you again.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Can we do a camping thing so that we can all upgrade or level if we need to?
Let's. So you guys get some distance. We'll say that Afik is skilled enough to cover your guys' tracks so that you can get some distance, and yeah, we can do a camp. Would you guys keep hiking till nightfall, or are you guys gonna make camp early?
Oh, I think we'd want to make camp pretty promptly, because we're not sure. Like, we get hit by darts. We got to make sure nobody's like poisoned and doesn't know about it. We got to account for everybody. We got to set up a defense in case they come right after us. So yeah, no, I think we find
That's right. These guys had poison with them.
Yeah, I think we got to find a spot that's defensible and button up and, like, bind everybody's wounds and
cool,
all this kind of stuff and everything.
What precautions would you guys make before camp to make sure the snake people, if they're hunting for you, can't find you?
Oh, I think you know what? I think just like we'd set them up wherever it is they are, and then and you know what? And then like I would go out and just have Tyr just kind of rampage around over a couple of 100 yards, just to make such a god-awful, chaotic mess of tracks.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we're carefully covering it. I just have him just like stomp around and rip shit up.
Yeah. So there's so many trails that
exactly. Yeah. So that like they have no idea what the proper direction is.
Right.
So yeah.
Also, can Tyr be useful on guard duty? Like if he just goes out and forwards, do you have like an empathic link? So if he sees something,
no. Tyr has 2 trained commands, and one of them is track by scent, and the other one is, I think, what is it? I want to make sure I get this right. Trample, break, and wreck. Those are his 2 moves. So.
All right. Yeah, I think that's good enough to justify making camp, and we'll.
I trample, break, and wreck our tracks.
Let's.
Lorcas starts to find some sticks and like sharpen some stakes, and he makes like 2 of them and sticks them in the dirt, and then he gets bored and wanders off.
So much for your punji sticks. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Spencer.
Oh, I was going to say let's have the scene of you guys making camp. We've got a couple minutes. If there's any keys that you guys want to turn, camp is usually a good time to try and reach for those.
Oh, sure. At the beginning of camp, I sing a soothing song, which gives everyone an additional 1d6.
Beautiful.
Hit points. I'll actually roll that. Should I roll that or should they?
Let's just have you roll it, and it'll apply to everybody.
All right. 6.
Awesome.
I'm not sure what else we get. Do we get like half our hit points back or something like that when we make camp? Or?
Yeah. So, who's gonna be the primary one keeping watch for a couple of hours? Because we'll just have one flat roll real quick, and then we'll get all our hit points back.
I don't know. I'm looking at you, Afik.
I've got a story thing to do with going to sleep, which is why I'm not volunteering.
Right.
You know what? Like, if everybody's resting and stuff like that, does our stone friend sleep?
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, you could talk to him and ask him.
Sure. So everybody's kind of been down and all this kind of stuff and everything, and I walk up to him, and I'm kind of just sort of like, and I get up close to him, and like I'm just staring and kind of like I reach up and like kind of like trace my finger along the, whatever. Do hobgoblins have horns or anything like that or whatever? Like, oh,
Yeah,
they've got like really like angular features and stuff like this, right? They're like all kind of like Cardassian looking and stuff, right?
Yeah. That's a good description.
Okay, so like, like I kind of like trace my finger along his cheek, and I'm like just like and I say, were you alive and turned to stone? Were you carved? How does this work? And like I put two hands on his chest and I'm like, solid. And I'm like tracing my fingers down the front of his chest, looking for little bit like pock marks where the darts hit or something like that. And I find a little spot where it looks like whatever. There's like a little chunk of stone that got like nicked out of it or something. And I kind of gently kind of rub my hand against it and I say, what is it like? Does it hurt? Do you feel pain? Do you feel pleasure?
Life is different. I slept for a long time. And this is the first time he actually like takes off the cloak that he's had on, and you see inset in that same kind of stone color that on the spear. He's got like a little opal, set in his chest. He touches it. And he says, "This is where I am." And I slept for hundreds of years waiting for the call of my master. And no, I don't feel. The only thing that there is to do is to serve Eli.
And so I reach out and I kind of like look at him like hesitating my fingertips a few inches away from it. And it's like, with that, like, can I touch it? Look on expression on my face.
Yeah, he'll cover it and kind of gently but bat your hand away and says, it's not something that non-hobgoblins should know about.
I think Lorcas is watching this from a. I don't mean to interrupt. I think Lorcas is watching this from a kind of reclining up against a tree and letting everyone else work. And at this point, he kind of mutters almost, "He's a blasphemy, nothing more. A blasphemy from a false god."
I kind of like look over my shoulder and I turn back and and I kind of like make a don't worry about it gesture to him, and I say, don't worry about him. He says a lot of things. Most of them only have meaning to him.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. And so, and you don't feel anything at all. And I kind of reach up and I like kind of knock, like knock on his chest. I say, so how do you, surely you must feel something or you wouldn't serve him. There must be, you must get some satisfaction out of that.
physically don't feel things. I don't feel tired. I don't feel hunger. I don't feel pain or thirst. I feel fatigue. I feel honor. I feel power. But these are all things that are already in your mind as well.
So you once had a body like mine, and they put your spirit in the gem, and now this is your body. Or is this your, or is this the flesh that you once wore changed to stone?
No, I was flesh once.
I would like to hear about that life that you had. Perhaps we could, while the others rest, we can keep watch, and maybe you can tell me what it's like to be a hobgoblin.
Cool. I like that. I think that
Marcus interjects here at the end of this nice scene and says, "Calm yourself, Lafik. We need nothing from this apostate, neither his friendship nor his companionship."
When you say we, you mean I, and I like laugh and like throw my arm companionably around my new friend's shoulders, and we'll go keep watch and chat with each other while they do their while everybody else rests up and binds their wounds and all that kind of stuff.
Cool. So why don't you roll the make camp? But everybody gets half their hit points back, and then we'll just see if anything interesting happens before you guys head out of camp.
Cool. Now this is just a straight up roll, right?
Yep, it's just a flat roll. Earlier, D'Oily, you had been given some that moss. Did you ever give any consideration or thought to it, or do you just have it in your inventory?
I just have it. Before we entered the fray, I had been wearing it as an adornment, and I just stuffed it into my satchel.
Okay. I'll just tell you, it counts as 3 uses of poultices and herbs if you have any need for those now.
I'm at full hit. I'm at full strength, full hit points.
Okay.
Does his quality help me for this? Because he's helping keep watch as well.
Yeah, we could add his quality. That's fine.
I got an 8.
Cool. Yeah, I wondered if that was a 6 from you.
That was a 6 from me, which is why I asked. So yeah.
Cool.
But that bumps it to an 8. So we're in that 7 to 9 range.
Awesome. We'll open with that 7 to 9 at the beginning of next session. Stephen, did you have anything else Lorcas wanted to do before the end of the session?
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to do an upgrade to, now where did I have it? I had it open. So I think in terms of what's happened so far, it would be appropriate for him to take the level Dark Ritual from the Cultist playbook, which lets him use our place of power to create a magical effect. So I thought that'd be kind of cool in terms of trying to bring Uru back by finding her places. But I think that comes to him because he's still got that poison coursing through his veins, and he was, pretty severely wounded. I think it comes to him in like a fever dream almost. So again, you can't really tell if it's actually his god is talking to him or if he's just high on snake venom. But while you guys are off having your conversation and learning about one another, I think you hear him, and he's secreted himself underneath like a thorn bush, but you hear him just like rolling back and forth. And when he wakes up the next morning, I think he's going to have these visions of those symbols that we saw on that monument when we were first traveling. I think he's going to have visions of those like glowing, and he's going to have learned how to read those symbols.
Cool. If that's cool with you. I like it a lot. D'Oily, did you want to do any last things before we close session?
Sure. I'm going to write a song, and let's just say, I mean, I actually had been working on something. I ran out of time because I had to level my characters. Working on something. I wanted to write something about both of my companions. But I have a But I'll tell you, I have a beginning. A Feek and his pig went out to dig for hidden gold in a solo gig. That's as much as I've got.
Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely cut that for your writing a new song. All right, let's do end of session, and then we'll shut off the cameras, and we'll just kind of debrief real brief.
Session, you mean the leveling move?
Yeah, go ahead and take your level, and then we'll also look at alignments and keys. So, Afik, did you end up leveling up? You had a couple of failed rolls, didn't you?
I am not quite there yet, though. After our end of session stuff, I think I probably will be.
Okay, cool. I just wondered if you were.
I certainly will be after our end of session stuff. So yeah, so I'll level up for next game.
So let's do our alignments and drives. So Afik, your alignment of wonder. Did you get to hit that?
Show someone a place or thing of natural beauty that they have not seen before. I don't think I did. No.
Okay. Lorcas, orthodoxy.
I would say yeah, just because I think the issue he caused by trying to kill somebody was kind of caused by his attempt to find information.
Yeah, his misguided, belief. Yeah.
Hell came to Frogtown.
The Oily, how about your neutral? Oh yeah, you just wrote a new song just now.
Right.
How about your keys to Oily, since we're on you?
Okay, so does that go under keys or drives, or does it go under adventuring?
I put it under adventuring and other usually.
Okay. Yes. Well, I don't believe the key of the curious, but certainly the key of the Harper. Bold actions to impress a stranger. That was That was part of the point of, like, I mean, I have this great ability to basically shut down a whole crowd, which I think is a pretty impressive action.
Well, yeah, and also going to what's his name? Going to the Frog Chieftain though, and offering your support there. I think you've turned that multiple times. So.
Sure, and now Elon knows that the frogs have someone who can shut down a whole group, including people like him.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, go ahead and take that. Lorcas, how about your keys?
I didn't hit Key of the Radical this time. I think I was trying to hit Key of the Melancholic there at the very end when I was trying to buzzkill on a Feek.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I like that. So Afik, go ahead and take one there because he couldn't have done that without your conversation. So you guys both get one from that. How about Afik, your keys?
Hang on, let me bump that one there. I definitely hit Key of the Awestruck. I'm completely gobsmacked by the fact that he is actually in the gem and not a statue, and I feel like I was appropriately just completely taken with that idea.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you asked me some questions I hadn't thought about. I've dealt with these already in another group, but I hadn't thought about, do they feel anything?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, is there any way to romance you?
Oh.
No, I guess there's not. Okay. That is also a first. So, but yeah, no, but it actually is kind of amazing that, like, I was asleep for hundreds of years and they woke me up, and now the only thing I know how to do is how to serve this person that woke me up.
Yep.
And I think, I mean, spoiler, I think if Beak has it in his head to try and, like, see if there's any way to kind of break that and give him some free will to go and have a life of his own. Because it sucks that, like, he's woken up in this new world, and he's basically a slave.
Yeah,
I'm not thrilled about that. So we'll have to we'll see where that goes. It may not go anywhere. It may all end in tragedy. But but I kind of get a kick out of that idea. So, but yeah, definitely hit that Key of the Awestruck, I think. So.
Can I do anything to get rid of my weak tag?
Yeah. So basically,
Hookups
just
or
to
something?
fictionally talk about what you're doing. So we can even do that. We can retcon a little bit and say you did it while we were setting up camp tonight. But let's just do that at the beginning next session. So just describe like what kinds of precautions you're doing to take care of that wound. And it may require a roll, or it may just go away. We'll see.
All right, and we'll do that next time.
Yeah. Let's do it next time because we're already over.
Okay.
All right, we've just got our adventuring questions. Did we defeat a notable foe?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna go with no.
We got in a fight, but no, we kind of had to back
of
down from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, those snake people are badass, huh?
Well, there was a lot of them. What's the problem? There's a lot more than we thought there was. So
Yeah, there were 3 failed rolls in the setup to that
yes,
fight.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Advantage. Anyway,
totally legit.
let's see. Did we loot anything interesting or valuable?
Did you get out of there did you get out of the frog storeroom with something?
Only pain.
Yeah,
Pain
okay,
and-
no
and pain.
no loot.
Yeah, you guys got that moss, but I mean, it's just herbs and
Yeah.
poultices and herbs. So,
No loot.
and then did we learn something new about the world?
Fuck
yes.
yeah, we did. We learned like we had the skinny on the whole hobgoblin gem soldier thing.
Right, and we learned about machines too.
Oh yeah, that's right, and about the existence of machines. So yeah, no, that's fantastic.
Cool.
I feel
I'd
like
love to
we
find out more
we
about
definitely
machines.
hit that one.
Yeah.
I've heard of them before.
All right, let's so go ahead and take that, and then I'm going to end the broadcast now.
Awesome.